What if I told you that in the next few minutes, you're going to dive into a story so wild, so emotionally charged, that you'll be thinking about it long after the video ends? Picture this, a billionaire, someone who has it all, money, power, and a life most of us can only dream of, is forced into a marriage he wants no part of. Sounds like a setup for disaster, right? But here's the twist, against every odd, he starts falling for the woman he swore he'd never love. Why does this matter to you? Because deep down, we've all felt trapped by expectations, pushed into corners we didn't choose, or wondered if love could bloom in the most unlikely places. This story is about that spark, that fight, that heart-pounding moment when everything you thought you knew gets flipped upside down. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you're going to find out exactly how this billionaire's world unravels. And I promise, it's a ride you won't want to miss. Let's jump in, together, and uncover the mystery of how a forced marriage turns into a love story that defies all logic. You're probably wondering, okay, how does a guy with everything, private jets, penthouses, the works, end up in an arranged marriage in 2025? That's the question that hooked me when I first stumbled across this idea, and I know it's why you clicked on this video. You're curious, maybe even a little skeptical, and that's perfect. Because this isn't just another billionaire romance with flashy cars and predictable drama. No, this is a story about real human connection, about what happens when two people are thrown together by fate, or maybe by someone else's agenda, and have to figure out if they're enemies, allies, or something more. I'm talking to you directly because I know you've felt that pull before. That moment when you meet someone who challenges everything you believe. Maybe it was a friend, a crush, or even a stranger who changed your perspective. This video is for you, the dreamer, the skeptic, the hopeless romantic who wants to believe love can conquer even the toughest odds. I'm going to guide you through this story like we're sitting down with a cup of coffee, unraveling a tale that's as much about you as it is about our characters. So grab a seat, hit that like button if you're already intrigued, and let's dig into the world of Ethan Caldwell, a man who thought he had life figured out, until it all came crashing down. Let me paint the scene for you. Ethan Caldwell is the kind of guy you'd see on the cover of Forbes, all sharp jawline and piercing blue eyes, with a net worth that could buy a small country. At 32, he's built a tech empire from the ground up, revolutionizing AI-driven solutions that power half the gadgets in your home. He's the American dream personified. Self-made, untouchable, and fiercely independent. Ethan doesn't do relationships. He's too busy closing billion-dollar deals and dodging paparazzi. But behind the tailored suits and confident smirks, there's a man who's never let anyone close enough to see the real him. Why? Because trust doesn't come easy when everyone wants a piece of your fortune. Now, imagine this. Ethan's world is turned upside down when his grandmother, the only person he's ever truly cared about, drops a bombshell. She's dying, and her final wish is to see him married, to a woman he's never met. This isn't just a suggestion. It's a condition tied to his inheritance, his company, and the legacy he spent his life building. You're probably thinking, no way, he'd never agree to that. And you're right. Ethan fights it tooth and nail. But when the stakes are this high, even a billionaire has to play by someone else's rules. This is where you come in, because I know you're already wondering. Who's the woman, and why is she such a game changer? Keep watching, because I'm going to give you just enough to keep you hooked without spoiling the magic. Enter Sophia Reyes, the woman who's about to flip Ethan's world on its axis. Sophia isn't your typical heiress or socialite. She's a 28-year-old artist from a small town in California, with a laugh that lights up a room and a stubborn streak that could rival Ethan's. She's got no interest in his money or his status. In fact, she's got her own dreams, her own battles, and a past she's not ready to share. When she's pulled into this arranged marriage, it's not because she wants to be. There's a reason she's standing at that altar, and it's not love at first sight. You might be thinking, okay, so they're forced together, big deal. What makes this different? Here's what I want you to hold on to. This story isn't just about two people clashing. It's about what happens when you're forced to confront your deepest fears, rejection, vulnerability, losing control. Ethan and Sophia don't just butt heads. They challenge each other in ways that make them question who they are. And you, watching this, you're going to see yourself in their struggles. Maybe you've had to choose between what you want and what's expected of you. Maybe you've wondered if you could ever trust someone enough to let them in. This video is your chance to explore those questions through a story that's equal parts heart-wrenching and hopeful. I'm not just telling you a story. I'm inviting you to feel it, to live it, to root for these two as they navigate a world that's trying to tear them apart. Now, let's talk about why this story matters. Not just to Ethan and Sophia, but to you. We're living in a time when everything feels chaotic. Trending topics like billionaire lifestyles, arranged marriages, and enemies to lovers are blowing up on YouTube because we're all searching for meaning in a world that's moving too fast. You didn't click on this video by accident. You're here because you want to escape, sure, but also because you want to believe that even in the messiest situations, something beautiful can emerge. That's what this story delivers. A roller coaster of emotions that'll make you laugh, cry, and maybe even scream at the screen. I'm not going to lie. There are secrets in this tale that'll shock you. There's a reason Ethan's grandmother is so hell-bent on this marriage. And it's not just about family legacy. There's something Sophia's hiding too. Something that could destroy everything before it even begins. You're going to want to know what it is, and I'm going to make you a promise right now. If you stick with me until the end, you'll get the answers you're craving. I'm not here to waste your time with fluff or cliches. This is a story crafted to keep you on the edge of your seat, to make you feel like you're part of Ethan and Sophia's world. So, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and let's keep going, because we're just getting started. Let's set the tone a bit more, because I want you to feel the weight of what's at stake. Imagine a glittering ballroom in New York City. Chandeliers casting golden light over a crowd of the elite. Ethan stands at the center, a glass of whiskey in his hand. His smile tight as he's introduced to Sophia for the first time. The air is thick with tension. Everyone's watching, waiting for the billionaire bachelor to make a move. Sophia, in a simple yet stunning dress, meets his gaze with a defiance that makes his jaw clench. You can practically hear the whispers. Who is she? Why her? This isn't a fairy tale where they lock eyes and fall in love. No, this is a battlefield, where every word is a weapon, and every glance is a challenge. The atmosphere is electric, charged with the promise of conflict and the possibility of something more. You're not just watching this unfold, you're right there with them, feeling the pressure, the doubt, the spark of something neither of them wants to admit. This is where the themes of the story start to take shape. Trust versus betrayal, freedom versus duty, love versus logic. You're going to see Ethan wrestle with his pride, Sophia fight for her independence, and both of them struggle against a world that's determined to define them. I know you're invested now, because who wouldn't be? Two stubborn souls, forced together, with everything to lose. What happens next? I want to connect with you on a deeper level before we go further. Think about the last time you felt like you had no control. Maybe it was a job, a relationship, or a family expectation. That's what Ethan and Sophia are going through, but on a scale that's larger than life. I'm sharing this story because I believe stories like this remind us that we're not alone in our struggles. You're not just a viewer. You're part of this journey. When you watch this video, you're signing up for an experience that's going to make you feel seen, heard, and understood. I'm not just here to entertain you. I'm here to make you think, to make you feel, to make you root for these characters as if they're your friends. And let's be real. You're not going to want to miss a single second. The chemistry between Ethan and Sophia is off the charts. But it's not all smooth sailing. There are moments of tenderness that'll melt your heart, followed by betrayals that'll leave you speechless. You're going to want to know how they navigate this mess, and I'm going to make sure you get every juicy detail. So don't you dare click away. Stay with me, because we're about to hit a turning point that'll change everything. Here's where things get really interesting. Ethan and Sophia's first night as a couple isn't a romantic dinner or a cozy getaway. It's a tense, awkward dinner at his grandmother's sprawling estate, where every word feels like a minefield. Ethan's trying to figure out what Sophia's angle is, because in his world, everyone has one. Sophia, meanwhile, is guarding her own secrets, her eyes darting to the door like she's planning her escape. You can feel the walls closing in, the pressure mounting, as they're forced to play the part of a happy couple for the sake of appearances. But something happens during that dinner. Something small, almost imperceptible, that shifts the dynamic. Maybe it's the way Sophia calls him out on his arrogance, or the way Ethan notices the sadness behind her smile. It's not love, not yet, but it's the first crack in their armor, the first hint that maybe, just maybe, they're not as different as they think. You're probably dying to know what it is, aren't you? Good, because that's exactly where I want you. Hooked, curious, and ready for more. This is the moment where the story takes off, where the mystery deepens, and where you're going to start questioning everything you thought you knew about these two. Before we wrap up this introduction, I want to make you a deal. If you stay until the end of this video, I'm going to reveal a secret about Ethan and Sophia that'll blow your mind. It's the kind of twist that'll have you hitting the replay button, texting your friends, and maybe even leaving a comment to tell me what you think. I'm not just throwing out clickbait promises here. I'm giving you my word that this story is worth your time. You're not just watching a video. You're stepping into a world where love, power, and secrets collide in ways you'll never see coming. Ethan and Sophia's journey is just beginning, and you're along for the ride. So, let's talk about what's next. In the rest of this video, we're going to follow them through their first week as a married couple. A week filled with arguments, unexpected alliances, and a moment so shocking it'll leave you speechless. But here's the cliffhanger I promised. By the end of that week, one of them discovers something about the other that could destroy everything they're starting to build. What is it? Who's hiding what? And will it tear them apart before they even have a chance? You're going to have to keep watching to find out. You're still here, and I'm thrilled, because we're about to dive deeper into the world of Ethan Caldwell and Sophia Reyes, where every moment feels like a tightrope walk over a canyon of secrets. That cliffhanger I left you with, about one of them discovering something that could shatter their fragile connection, is just the tip of the iceberg. Let's pick up right where we left off, in the aftermath of that tense dinner at Ethan's grandmother's estate, where a single fleeting moment hinted that these two might be more than just reluctant partners in an arranged marriage. But before we get to the bombshell that's looming, let's pull back the curtain a bit and explore who these people are, what brought them to this point, and why their world feels like it's teetering on the edge of chaos. You're not just watching a story unfold. You're stepping into a web of emotions, hidden agendas, and unexpected alliances that'll keep you guessing. I'm talking to you, the viewer who loves a good enemies to lovers arc, who's searching for that next trending YouTube story that hits all the feels. Stick with me, because this is about to get even more intense, and I promise you're going to want to know what happens next. Let's start with Ethan, because understanding him is key to grasping why this marriage feels like a cage he's desperate to escape. Growing up in Silicon Valley, Ethan was never handed anything on a silver platter. His parents were middle-class dreamers who lost everything in a bad investment when he was a teenager, leaving him to fend for himself emotionally while they rebuilt their lives. That's when he started coding, locking himself in his room for hours, building apps that eventually caught the eye of tech giants. By 25, he'd founded Caldwell Technologies, a company that's now a household name, powering everything from smart homes to self-driving cars. But success came at a cost. Ethan learned early on that people, friends, partners, even family, often saw him as a ticket to wealth, not a person. You can probably relate to that feeling of wondering who's really in your corner, right? It's why Ethan keeps everyone at arm's length, why his penthouse feels more like a fortress than a home. His grandmother, Eleanor Caldwell, is the exception. A fierce no-nonsense matriarch who built the family's wealth decades ago, she's the one person Ethan trusts, until she blindsides him with this marriage deal. Why is Eleanor so insistent on Sophia? That's the question gnawing at Ethan as he sits through that first dinner, watching Sophia sip her wine with a guarded expression. He's used to reading people, but she's a puzzle he can't crack, and it's driving him up the wall. You're probably wondering what's behind Eleanor's plan too, and I'll give you a hint. It's not just about securing the family legacy. There's a deeper motive, one that ties back to a secret from Eleanor's past, and it's going to complicate everything. Now let's shift to Sophia, because she's not just the other half of this arrangement. She's a force in her own right, and her story adds a whole new layer of intrigue. Raised in a tight-knit community in Monterey, California, Sophia grew up surrounded by art, music, and the kind of small-town warmth that feels like a hug. Her parents, both teachers, instilled in her a love for creating, and by her early 20s, she was making a name for herself as a painter, with her vibrant emotional canvases popping up in local galleries. But life hasn't been all sunshine for Sophia. 3 years ago, something happened. Something she doesn't talk about, not even to her closest friends, that left her reeling. It's why she moved to a tiny apartment in San Francisco, scraping by on freelance commissions while trying to rebuild her life. When you hear arranged marriage, you might picture a damsel in distress, but Sophia's no victim. She's in this marriage for reasons of her own, reasons she's keeping locked away, even from Ethan. At that dinner, when she meets his icy stare with a defiant tilt of her chin, it's not just pride, it's survival. You can feel the weight of her past in the way she hesitates before speaking, the way her fingers tighten around her fork when Eleanor mentions family obligations. What's she hiding? I know you're curious, because I am too. Here's a little tease. Sophia's secret isn't just about her. It's connected to someone else in the room, and when it comes out, it's going to turn this story upside down. You're going to want to keep watching to see how it unfolds, because this is the kind of drama that makes billionaire romance trends blow up on YouTube. As the first week of their marriage begins, the tension between Ethan and Sophia is palpable, like a storm brewing just out of sight. They're living in Ethan's sleek Manhattan penthouse, a place so modern it feels sterile, with floor-to-ceiling windows that make Sophia feel like she's on display. Ethan's barely around, burying himself in work to avoid her, but when they do cross paths, it's a clash of wills. Picture this: Sophia's painting in the living room, her canvas splattered with bold reds and blues, when Ethan walks in, loosening his tie after a 14-hour day. He makes a snide comment about her mess, and she fires back, accusing him of hiding behind his suits and his money. It's not just banter. It's two people testing each other's limits, searching for weaknesses. You've probably had moments like that, where a single conversation feels like a chess match. What makes this so gripping is that neither of them wants to admit they're starting to notice things about the other. Ethan catches himself watching the way Sophia tucks her hair behind her ear when she's deep in thought. Sophia finds herself wondering why Ethan's so guarded, why his laugh, rare as it is, feels like a glimpse into someone real. These tiny moments are the sparks of something bigger, but they're drowned out by the noise of their doubts and the pressure of the world around them. You're rooting for them, aren't you? I know I am, but I also know the road ahead is anything but smooth. Let's introduce a subplot that's going to add even more spice to this story. Meet Liam Harper, Ethan's best friend and the COO of Caldwell Technologies. Liam's the kind of guy who charms everyone. Witty, laid back, with a smile that could sell ice to a penguin. He's been by Ethan's side since college, the one person who knows the real Ethan behind the billionaire facade. But Liam's got his own agenda, and it's not as simple as being the loyal sidekick. When he meets Sophia, there's an instant connection. Not romantic, but something deeper, like two people who recognize the same kind of pain in each other. Liam's the first to see through Sophia's tough exterior, and their late-night talks over coffee start to peel back layers of her story. Here's where things get murky. Liam's hiding something too, something tied to Caldwell Technologies and a deal that could make or break the company. Is he protecting Ethan, or is he playing a longer game? You're probably starting to see the web forming. Everyone in this story has a secret, and they're all connected in ways even they don't fully understand. This subplot isn't just filler. It's a ticking time bomb that's going to intersect with Ethan and Sophia's marriage in ways you won't see coming. I know you're hooked, because who wouldn't be when the stakes are this high? Another layer of mystery comes from Eleanor Caldwell herself, because she's not just a meddling grandmother with a flair for drama. At 78, Eleanor is a legend in New York's high society. A woman who clawed her way to wealth in an era when women were rarely taken seriously. Her mansion, filled with antique furniture and faded photographs, feels like a museum of her triumphs and her regrets. Eleanor's health is failing, but her mind is sharp, and her insistence on this marriage isn't just about seeing Ethan settled. During that first dinner, she watches Ethan and Sophia with an intensity that's almost unsettling, her fingers tapping the table like she's counting down to something. You can't help but wonder, what does she know that they don't? There's a moment when she pulls Sophia aside, her voice low, and says, "You're here for a reason, child. Don't forget that." It's cryptic, and Sophia brushes it off, but you can tell it rattles her. For you, the viewer who's all about family secrets and hidden agendas trending on YouTube, this is the kind of detail that makes you lean in closer. Eleanor's past holds a key to this story, and it's tied to a name that keeps popping up in hushed conversations. Margaret. Who is she? And why does her name make Eleanor's eyes darken? You're going to want to stick around, because this is the kind of mystery that'll keep you up at night. As the week progresses, the outside world starts closing in on Ethan and Sophia, adding pressure to their already strained dynamic. The media's having a field day with their marriage, with headlines screaming, "Billionaire's mystery bride," and paparazzi camping outside Ethan's building. You know how it is. Trending topics like celebrity gossip and billionaire scandals are everywhere, and Ethan and Sophia are the internet's new obsession. Sophia hates the spotlight, and Ethan's used to controlling the narrative, so the scrutiny is driving them both up the wall. There's a moment when they're forced to attend a charity gala together, their first public appearance as a couple. Picture Sophia in a deep emerald gown, her smile tight as she navigates a room full of judgmental stares. Ethan's at her side, his hand on her back, but it's not affection, it's strategy, a united front for the cameras. Yet, during a quiet moment on the balcony, away from the crowd, they share a real conversation for the first time. It's not much, just a story about Ethan's childhood dog, a laugh from Sophia about her first failed painting, but it's enough to make them both pause. You can feel the shift, the possibility of something more, but it's cut short when a reporter corners them with a question that hits too close to home. Is this marriage just a business deal? The silence that follows is deafening, and it's a reminder that trust is still a long way off. You're probably itching to know how they answer, and I'm not going to spoil it here, but let's just say it sets the stage for the bombshell I hinted at earlier. By the end of this first week, the tension is at a boiling point, and that discovery I teased is about to come into play. Ethan's digging into Sophia's background, because that's what he does. Control the unknown. He's got his team pulling records, searching for anything that'll give him leverage. Meanwhile, Sophia's starting to notice things about Ethan's world that don't add up, like the late-night calls he takes in his study, or the way Liam's smile falters when certain topics come up. They're both circling each other, looking for cracks, but what they don't realize is that they're on a collision course with a truth neither of them is ready for. You, the viewer, are right there with them, piecing together the clues, wondering who's going to break first. This isn't just a love story, it's a game of trust, power and survival, with stakes that go beyond the two of them. I know you're invested, because I am too, and I'm not going to let you down. The next part of this video is going to take you even deeper, into a moment where one of them stumbles across a piece of evidence. A letter, a photo, something tangible, that changes everything. What is it? Who does it implicate? And will it bring Ethan and Sophia closer together or tear them apart for good? You're going to have to keep watching to find out, because this story is only getting started, and the twists are about to get wild. You're still with me, and I'm pumped because we're about to take this roller coaster of a story to a whole new level. That moment we left off on, Ethan and Sophia teetering on the edge of a discovery that could change everything, is about to explode into something you won't see coming. The tension in their world is like a rubber band stretched to its limit, and this is where it snaps, pulling you deeper into a web of secrets, betrayal, and a twist that'll leave your jaw on the floor. For you, the viewer who's hooked on billionaire drama, enemies to lovers, and shocking plot twists trending on YouTube, this is the part where the stakes skyrocket, and every choice Ethan and Sophia make feels like it could make or break them. I'm talking to you directly because I know you're invested. You're not just watching for the glitz of Ethan's billionaire lifestyle or the sparks flying between him and Sophia. You're here for the raw, messy human emotions that make this story feel real. So let's dive back into their world, where that charity gala's awkward balcony moment has set the stage for a revelation that's going to turn their marriage, and their lives, upside down. Buckle up, because this is where things get wild, and I promise you're going to want to stick around to see how it all unfolds. The morning after the gala, Ethan's in his study, the city skyline sprawling beyond his window, but his focus is on a single file his private investigator just emailed him. You remember how he's been digging into Sophia's past, right? Well, he's not the kind of guy who trusts easily, and Sophia's guarded demeanor has him convinced she's hiding something big. The file contains details about her life in Monterey, her art career, her parents' quiet life. But there's a gap, a 2-year period where Sophia seems to vanish from the record. Ethan's gut tells him this is the key to understanding why she agreed to this marriage, and he's not wrong. But before he can dig deeper, Sophia walks in, still in her pajamas, her hair a messy bun, holding a mug of coffee. There's a moment where they just stare at each other, the air thick with unspoken questions. You can feel the push and pull between them, attraction, suspicion, and something neither of them wants to name. Sophia notices the laptop screen, her eyes narrowing, and instead of backing down, she calls him out. If you've got something to say, Ethan, just say it. It's the kind of bold move that makes you want to cheer for her, but it also lights a fuse. Ethan, never one to back down from a challenge, snaps back, accusing her of playing a game. The argument escalates, words flying like daggers, until Sophia lets slip something she didn't mean to. You think you're the only one who's trapped here? I had a life before this, and it wasn't perfect, but it was mine. That's when Ethan pounces, demanding to know what she's hiding. You're probably on the edge of your seat, wondering if she's going to spill it all, but here's where the story swerves, because before Sophia can answer, Ethan's phone buzzes with a message that stops him cold. Check the safe in Eleanor's study. You'll want to see this. It's anonymous, and it's the kind of cryptic clue that screams trouble. Who sent it? What's in the safe? This is the twist that's going to change everything, and you're going to want to keep watching to find out. Let's zoom out for a second to bring in Liam Harper, because his subplot is about to collide with the main story in a way that ramps up the suspense. Liam's been playing the role of Ethan's charming loyal best friend, but you've probably picked up on the hints that he's not as straightforward as he seems. While Ethan's obsessing over Sophia's past, Liam's dealing with a crisis at Caldwell Technologies. A major investor is threatening to pull out unless they finalize a shady deal involving a new AI prototype. One that's not quite ready and, if you dig deep enough, has some ethical red flags. Liam's been keeping this from Ethan, partly to protect him, but also because he's got his own skin in the game. You see, Liam's not just the COO. He's got a personal stake in the company's success, tied to a debt he's been hiding for years. When he meets Sophia for coffee later that day, trying to clear his head, he lets something slip about the company's other projects, and Sophia, sharp as ever, picks up on it. She's not just a painter. She's got a knack for reading people, and Liam's nervous energy sets off alarm bells. This is where their friendship starts to complicate things, because Sophia's loyalty is torn. She's starting to care about Ethan, despite herself, but Liam's openness makes her question who's really in the right. You're probably wondering how this ties back to that anonymous message, and here's the kicker. Liam's been getting similar messages, cryptic warnings about watching his back. Is someone playing them all? This subplot isn't just about corporate drama. It's a ticking clock that's going to intersect with Ethan and Sophia's marriage in a way that'll leave you speechless. I know you're hooked, because this is the kind of layered storytelling that makes billionaire scandals and hidden agendas blow up on YouTube. Now let's get to that safe, because this is where the twist hits like a freight train. Ethan doesn't waste time. That night, while Eleanor's at a fundraiser, he drives to her estate, Sophia in tow because she insists on coming. Partly to prove she's not hiding anything, partly because she's as curious as he is. The study is a time capsule, all dark wood and leather-bound books, with a massive safe hidden behind a portrait of Eleanor's late husband. Ethan's hands shake as he punches in the code. His grandfather's birthday, a guess that pays off. Inside, they find a stack of documents, a few old photos, and a letter sealed with red wax, addressed to Ethan. You can feel the weight of this moment, the way the air seems to hum with anticipation. The letter's from Eleanor, written years ago, and it starts with a line that makes Ethan's blood run cold. If you're reading this, I'm gone, and you've married the girl I chose for you. But there's something you need to know about her family. Sophia's standing right there, her face pale, and you can see the panic in her eyes as Ethan reads on. The letter hints at a connection between Sophia's family and a scandal that nearly destroyed the Caldwells decades ago. Something involving a woman named Margaret, whose name keeps popping up like a ghost. But here's the gut punch. The letter cuts off, incomplete, and one of the photos shows a young Eleanor with a woman who looks eerily like Sophia. Is Sophia's family tied to this scandal? Is she part of some long-game revenge? Ethan turns to her, his voice low and dangerous. Who are you, really? You're probably screaming at the screen right now, because this is the kind of twist that flips everything you thought you knew. Sophia's as stunned as Ethan, but before she can defend herself, they hear footsteps in the hallway. Someone's in the house. Who's there? Did they send the message? This is the moment where the story rockets toward its climax, and you're not going to want to look away. The stakes are higher than ever now, because this discovery doesn't just threaten Ethan and Sophia's marriage, it pulls in everyone around them. Eleanor's cryptic letter suggests she's been pulling strings for years. But why? And what does it mean for Sophia, who's starting to realize she might not know her own family's history as well as she thought? Meanwhile, Liam's subplot is heating up, because those anonymous messages he's been getting are starting to sound more like threats. He's digging into the AI deal, and what he finds, a hidden clause that could ruin Caldwell Technologies, makes him wonder if someone inside the company is sabotaging them. Could it be tied to the same person who tipped Ethan off about the safe? You're probably piecing together the clues, just like I am, and that's what makes this story so addictive. Every character's perspective adds a new layer of mystery, and you can feel the walls closing in. For you, the viewer who's all about family secrets and plot twists trending on YouTube, this is the kind of drama that keeps you glued to the screen. Ethan and Sophia are forced to work together now, whether they trust each other or not, because whoever's in that house knows what they found, and they're not happy about it. Picture them hiding in the study, hearts pounding, as the footsteps get closer. Sophia grabs Ethan's hand, a reflex, and for a split second, they're not enemies, they're allies. It's a fleeting moment of connection, but it's enough to make you root for them, even as the danger mounts. Let's talk about why this matters to you, because I know you're not just here for the drama. You're here for the heart of the story. Ethan and Sophia's fight isn't just about secrets or scandals. It's about what it means to trust someone when the world's telling you not to. You've probably been there, standing at a crossroads, wondering if you should take a leap of faith or protect yourself. That's what makes their story universal, Why it resonates whether you're watching from a cozy couch in Chicago or a bustling cafe in LA. This video isn't just entertainment. It's a mirror, reflecting your own hopes and fears through a lens of billionaire glamour and high-stakes intrigue. I'm not going to resolve this yet. Oh no, we're building to something even bigger, but I'm going to make you a promise. Stick with me, and the next part of this story is going to deliver answers to some of your burning questions, while raising new ones that'll keep you hooked. The footsteps in the hallway are getting louder, and Ethan and Sophia are out of time. Who's coming for them? What's the truth about Sophia's family? And will this discovery bring them closer or drive a wedge between them for good? You're going to have to keep watching, because this story is far from over, and the next twist is going to blow your mind. You've stuck with me through every twist and turn, and I'm so grateful because we're about to hit the peak of this wild ride. The moment where Ethan Caldwell and Sophia Reyes face the truth that's been lurking in the shadows of their arranged marriage. Those footsteps echoing in Eleanor's study have us all on edge, and the discovery of that cryptic letter and haunting photo has pushed Ethan and Sophia to a breaking point. You're here, glued to the screen, because you're craving answers to the questions that have been burning since we started. Who is Sophia, really? What's Eleanor's endgame? And can two people forced together by fate find love against all odds? For you, the viewer who's been riding this wave of billionaire romance, family secrets, and shocking plot twists trending on YouTube, this is the payoff you've been waiting for. A climax that'll hit you in the heart and a resolution that'll leave you thinking long after the video ends. I'm talking to you like we're old friends, because that's how much this story means to me, and I know you're feeling it too. Let's dive into the chaos, unravel the mysteries, and wrap this up with a final twist that'll leave you speechless. Grab a snack, hit that like button if you're as pumped as I am, and let's see how Ethan and Sophia's world comes together, or falls apart. The footsteps in the hallway stop, and for a moment, the silence is deafening. Ethan and Sophia are crouched behind the desk in Eleanor's study, the letter and photo clutched in Ethan's hand, their breaths shallow as they brace for what's next. The door creaks open, and in steps, not a stranger, not a villain, but Liam Harper, Ethan's best friend. You can feel the shock ripple through the room, and I know you're as stunned as they are. Liam's face is pale, his usual charm replaced by a grim determination. You weren't supposed to find that, he says, his voice low, and for a second, it looks like he's the one behind everything. The anonymous messages, the threats, the whole mess. Ethan's on his feet, fury in his eyes, ready to tear into him, but Sophia grabs his arm, her instinct screaming that there's more to this. She's right, because Liam's not the enemy. He's been trying to protect them. He reveals that he's been investigating Caldwell Technologies' shady AI deal, the one with the investor who's been pushing for a rushed rollout. The messages Ethan and Liam have been getting? They're from a whistleblower inside the company, someone who knows the AI prototype could cause harm if released too soon. But here's where it ties back to the letter. The scandal Eleanor hinted at, the one involving Sophia's family and a woman named Margaret, is connected to the same technology. Decades ago, Margaret, Sophia's grandmother, worked with Eleanor on an early AI project that went wrong, costing lives and nearly bankrupting the Caldwells. Eleanor's been carrying that guilt ever since, and she orchestrated this marriage to bring Sophia into the fold, hoping to right old wrongs by uniting their families. You're probably reeling, because this is huge. Sophia's not just a random choice. She's a piece of a puzzle Eleanor's been trying to solve for years. But the danger's not over, because the whistleblower's warning suggests someone's still trying to bury this secret, and they're willing to do anything to keep it hidden. This revelation is the spark that ignites the climax, because Ethan and Sophia realize they're not just fighting for their marriage. They're fighting for the truth, and maybe even their lives. Liam's got proof that the investor, a ruthless tycoon named Victor Kane, is behind the threats. Kane's been using his influence to pressure Caldwell Technologies, and he's got insiders in the company feeding him information. The footsteps they heard? That was Liam, sneaking in to retrieve documents he'd hidden in the study, hoping to expose Kane before it's too late. But Kane's one step ahead. He's got people watching the estate, and as Ethan, Sophia, and Liam piece this together, the lights in the house flicker. And a car engine roars outside. You can feel the panic, the way every second counts. Ethan's mind is racing, torn between his instinct to protect Sophia and his need to confront the man threatening his company. Sophia, though, isn't sitting this one out. She's done being a pawn in someone else's game, and her artist's eye for detail picks up something crucial. The photo of Eleanor and Margaret shows them in a lab, with a logo in the background that matches one of Kane's subsidiaries. This isn't just about the past, it's about a cover-up that's still active, and Kane's willing to silence anyone who gets too close. You're probably on the edge of your seat, because this is the kind of billionaire scandal drama that blows up on YouTube, and it's about to get even crazier. Ethan makes a split-second decision. They need to get to Eleanor, who's at that fundraiser, because she's the only one who can confirm the truth about Margaret and stop Kane. But as they race out of the house, dodging Kane's goons, Sophia's phone buzzes with a message from an unknown number. You can't run from the truth. Who sent it? Is the whistleblower friend or foe? The stakes are sky high, and you're right there with them, heart pounding as they speed toward the city. The climax hits at the fundraiser, a glitzy affair in a Manhattan skyscraper, where Eleanor's holding court among New York's elite. Ethan, Sophia, and Liam burst in, disheveled and desperate, just as Eleanor's about to give a speech. The room falls silent, and you can feel the weight of every eye on them. Ethan doesn't hesitate. He strides to the stage, grabs the mic, and lays it all bare. The failed AI project, Margaret's involvement, Kane's attempt to bury it, and Eleanor's plan to fix it through their marriage. It's a gamble, exposing the truth in front of hundreds of people, but Ethan's done playing by other people's rules. Eleanor's face is unreadable at first, but then she steps forward, her voice steady, and confirms everything. She admits she chose Sophia because of her grandmother's legacy, hoping their union would heal old wounds and protect the company from Kane's greed. Sophia's stunned, grappling with the fact that her family's history is tied to this mess, but she stands by Ethan, her hand finding his in a quiet show of strength. You're probably cheering, because this is the moment where they finally become a team, but the danger's not over. Kane's in the crowd, his face a mask of fury, and just as security moves to escort him out, he pulls a last-ditch move. He leaks doctored footage to the press, claiming Ethan's been siphoning company funds. The room erupts in chaos, phones buzzing with notifications as the story spreads like wildfire. You know how fast celebrity gossip trends on YouTube, and this is the kind of scandal that could ruin Ethan overnight. But Sophia, in a move that shows how far she's come, steps up. She uses her phone to live stream a response, calling out Kane's lies and sharing the photo of Eleanor and Margaret, proving the real story. It's a bold in-the-moment act that turns the tide, and you can't help but root for her as the crowd starts to rally behind them. The resolution comes fast, but it's not without cost. With the truth out, Kane's influence crumbles, his insiders turn on him, and the whistleblower, revealed to be a young engineer named Tara who worked on the AI project, comes forward with the final evidence needed to shut him down. Caldwell Technologies is saved, but the fallout is messy. Ethan's reputation takes a hit, and he steps back as CEO to focus on rebuilding trust, with Liam stepping up to lead. Eleanor, frail but fierce, apologizes to Ethan and Sophia, admitting her plan was flawed but driven by love. She hands over the rest of the letter, which reveals Margaret wasn't just a colleague. She was Eleanor's best friend, and her death in the AI accident haunted Eleanor for decades. This closure lets Sophia process her own grief, because she's been carrying the weight of her grandmother's story without even knowing it. You're probably feeling the emotional weight of this, because it's not just about the drama. It's about healing, about finding peace in the chaos. Ethan and Sophia, now truly partners, decide to stay married, not because of Eleanor's wishes, but because they've fallen for each other, hard. There's a quiet moment where they're back in the penthouse, Sophia painting while Ethan watches, and he says, "I didn't think I could do this, love someone. But you changed everything." It's raw, real, and the kind of enemies to lovers payoff that makes you want to rewatch the whole story. You're smiling, maybe tearing up, because this is what you came for. A love that fought through every odd to win. But I promised you a final twist, and here it is, because I'm not letting you go without one last gasp. As Ethan and Sophia settle into their new life, Tara, the whistleblower, visits them with a confession. She's been digging into the AI project's old files, and she found something Eleanor never mentioned. A second prototype, one that Margaret designed, hidden in a secret lab. It's still active, and it's been sending those anonymous messages, not from a person, but from itself, programmed to protect Margaret's legacy. The twist isn't just that the AI exists. It's that it's learning, evolving, and it knows more about Ethan and Sophia than they realize. As Tara shows them a screen with the AI's latest message, "You're not done yet." The camera zooms in on their stunned faces, and you're left with a chill down your spine. What does it mean? Is the story really over? This twist opens a door to something bigger, something that'll have you hitting the subscribe button and begging for a sequel in the comments. You're probably buzzing with theories, because this is the kind of plot twist that trends on YouTube for weeks. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with something to carry forward. This story, Ethan and Sophia's journey isn't just about billionaires or scandals or even love. It's about what it means to trust when it's hard, to fight for what matters, and to find strength in the people who challenge you to be better. You've been with me through every heartbeat of this tale, and I know you've seen yourself in their struggles, whether it's standing up to pressure, facing your past, or daring to let someone in. For you, the viewer who's been searching for a story that hits all the feels, I hope this delivered. Ethan and Sophia's love is a reminder that even in a world of secrets and power plays, the human heart can still win. So, hit that bell icon, drop a comment with your favorite moment, and let's keep this conversation going. What do you think the AI's next move is? And more importantly, what's the next story you want me to tell? Thank you for being here, for believing in this journey, and for letting me share this with you. Until next time, keep chasing the stories that make your heart race.